Good morning. Good morning. Hello, my name is Erica LaShawn. It is August 11th, 2022. Like I said before, my name is Erica LaShawn. It's 11:05 a.m. and I'm here for another topic. If you're new, hello, welcome. If you're not new, hello, welcome. Please like, share, and subscribe. So I wanted to talk about names. For some strange reason, I have an affinity for people's names. Like if I meet people and they say a name could be a conversation piece. So you can have an unusual name. My name is Common. Um, so, and I like my name. Thanks, mom and dad. But I like my name and it's cool. It works for me. But there are a lot of people in this world that have names that are conversation pieces, and for somebody like me, if I bump into you at a cocktail party in the corner and you say your name, I will have questions. I like to know what the story behind it, you know, things of that nature. So I'm interested in stuff like that. So, um, this information or this what I'm looking at has been going around for a long time. They talk about your name and how it depending on your name, it talks about people talk about your how your name can gear you in different positions in life in different directions and what's in a name really. So, I'll just start with this is the insider. Um I don't have August 5th. This is August 5th, 2015. Jenna Gadreau, Goudreau. But it's titled Three Surprising Ways Your Name Affects Your Success. So it starts off by saying, what's in a name? Potentially your future. A host of research shows just how much your name can affect your lifetime success, from your hireability to your spending habits. So, excuse me. So, please excuse the paper flipping. So it just talks about if your name is easy to pronounce, people will favor you more. In a New York University study, researchers found that people with easier to pronounce names often have higher status positions at work. One of the psychologists, Adam Alter, explains to some outlet called Wired, WIRED, quote, when we can process a piece of information more easily, when it's easier to comprehend, we come to like it more, unquote. And symbols tended to perform better in the stock market as well. I'm sorry, I skipped a line. In a future study, Alter also found that companies with similar names and ticker symbols tend to perform better in the stock market. So, okay, moving forward. If your name is Common, I'm sorry, just said that. Well, no, I didn't. If your name is Common, it is more likely for you to be hired. Yeah, just kind of said that. But anyway, it just talks about studies um, in reference to that, in regards to that. If your last name is closer to the beginning of the alphabet, you could get into a better school. For a study published in Economics of Education Review, researchers studied the relationship between the position in the alphabet of more than 90,000 Czech students' last name and their admission chances at competitive schools. They found that even though students with last names that were low in the alphabet tended to get higher test scores overall among the students who applied to universities and were on the margins of getting admitted or not, those with last names that were close to the top of the alphabet were more likely to be, there's a staple here, most likely to be admitted. All right. If your last name is closer to the end of the alphabet, you're more likely to be an impulse spender. Well, I don't know, but according to one study, people with the last names such as Yardley or Zabar may be more susceptible to promotional strategies like lifetime offers. The authors speculate that spending your childhood at the end of the roll call may make you want to jump on offers before you miss the chance. That's really interesting. I guess you're used to it, maybe. I don't know. Um, your capacity and performance. In one study, students were asked to rate an essay with one of four styles of author names. Not only did the authors with the middle initial receive top marks, but the one with the last initials, David F.P.R. Clark, received the best reviews. Yeah. You're more likely to work in a company that matches your initials. Yeah. It says since we identify with our names, we prefer things that are similar to them. In a Ghent University study, Ghent, Ghente, University study, researchers found that people are more likely to work for companies matching their own initials. For example, Brian Ingborg, Ingborg, might work for Business Insider. The rarer the initials, the more likely people were to work for companies with names similar to their own. So, I'm going to keep going and I'll talk about something. If your name sounds noble, you are likely to work in a high ranking position. In a European study, researchers studied German names and ranks within companies. Those with names like Kaiser, Kaiser, in parentheses, emperor, or Koing, king, Koing. It has the two little dots over the O and it's king, were in a more managerial position than those with last names that refer to common occupations such as cook. It's spelled Koch, Koch. It looks to me like Koch, like the mayor. We had a mayor in New York named Koch, but in parentheses it says cook, or Bauer, Bauer, in parentheses farmer. This could be the result of associative reasoning, a psychological theory describing a type of thinking in which people automatically think emotions and previous knowledge with similar words or phrases. If you're a boy with a girl's name, you could be more likely to be suspended at school. Oh, for this 2005 study, the University of Florida economics professor David Filiggio, Figlio, studied a large Florida school district from 1996 to 2000 and found that boys with names most commonly given to girls misbehave in middle school and were more likely to disrupt their peers. He also found that their behavior problems were linked with increased disciplinary problems and lower test scores. Moving forward, if you are a woman with a gender neutral name, you may be more likely to succeed in certain fields. According to The Atlantic, in male dominated fields such as engineering and law, women with gender neutral names may be more successful. One study found that women with masculine names, quote unquote, like Leslie, Jan, or Cameron, tended to be more successful in legal careers. I went to college with a girl named Deon, Deon, cool girl. Men with shorter first names are overrepresented in the C-suite. Men with shorter names are overrepresented in the C-suite. Don't know what that means. In 2011, LinkedIn analyzed more than 100 million profilers to find out which names are most associated with the CEO position. The most common names for men were short, often one syllable names like Bob, Jack, Bruce. A name specialist speculates that men in power may use nicknames to offer a sense of friendliness and openness. Women at the top are more likely to use their full names. Excuse me. In the same study with LinkedIn, researchers found that most common names of female CEOs include Deborah, Cynthia, and Carolyn. Unlike the men, women may use their full names in an attempt to project professionalism and gravitas. Look, Gravitas. Gratuity, kind of. They in the same family. Gravitas. You know what I'm saying. You smart. So back to this name game stuff. So like I was saying earlier, I kind of like names. And one time I worked with a young lady. Her name was Albert Ann. And one day I was like, so, what's the story? That's my line. I'm like, so what's the story behind your name? I said, what, your mother name Albert? No, she said it. She was like, well, my father's name is Albert and my mother's name is Ann. I'm like, oh. And the more we worked together as time went on, the more I said it, it was so common in my mind. That was it, Albert Ann. But right off the cuff, it was like, but the more we worked together, it sounded really normal to me. So, but back to, I have a thing where I am kind of keeping track of names that I find are, I have to watch my language, just not very non-traditional. Because where I work, I come across a lot of names of kids. And you will be surprised, or maybe you won't, because I have people in my friends and family. They are teachers, nurses, healthcare providers. They work in all sorts of fields, and you guys understand. You guys understand when that name roll across your desk. You like, no. This can't be. So I'm gonna just say right now, shout out to Pumpkin Wiggins. Like, if you listening, hello. Hey, like for real, Pumpkin Wiggins. Mink Suave, shout out to Mink Suave. These are real people. It just be, hey. And it's so bad. Some of my coworkers be like, Erica, what about this one? And I'm the gatekeeper of the list. So I'm like, no, it got to be worse than that. But yeah. So it go all the way from we love. I'm looking at my own. I printed out my own. I do have my own list. I really do. So I'm gonna just be honest. I'm not voting for Mink Suave. So when we have to be very careful when we come up with these names, because it's kind of like, I don't know. If I want my go to my doctor, and my doctor's name is Born True. Okay. Winner. My kid's teacher's name is Winner. Or Purple Brown. It just goes down to that. But or Vuitton. Stuff like that. I had a kid, his name was Cashmere. Case came in because he was dirty and smelly and dirty clothes. But your name is Cashmere. Anyway, so back to names though. So Wikipedia, a name is very important. That's why people get so tense when it comes to, what do I name? Because what do I name my baby? Because it's gonna lead their life in some way. And I gotta I can't wait to get to this next thing. But anyway, Wikipedia. A name is a term used for identification by an external observer. They can identify a class or category of things or a single thing, either being unique or within the given context. The entity identified by a name is called its referent. A personal name, a referent is a personal name which identifies not necessarily uniquely, but a specific individual human. The name of a specific entity is sometimes called a proper name, in parentheses, although that term has a philosophical meaning as well. But and is when consisting of only one word, a proper noun. Other nouns are sometimes called common names, or in parentheses obsolete. Is that obsolete? OBSOLETE, obsolete. Okay. Or general names. A name can be given to a person, place, or thing. For example, parents can give their kid a name, or a scientist can give an element a name. So Wikipedia goes into all this stuff. I'm really just I'm sticking with personal names because they get off into all type of stuff. But a personal name is an identifying word or words by which an individual is intimately known or designated. In many countries, it is traditional for individuals to have a personal name or a given name or a surname or a last name. There are all these parentheses and stuff, but we know first name, surname, first, last, because it's shared by members of the same family with the same name. So some people have two surnames, one inherited from each parent. In most European and the Americas, the name given typically comes before the surname, whereas in parts of Asia and Hungary, the surname comes before the given name. In other countries, it is traditional for a woman to take her husband's surname when she gets married. A common practice in many countries is, I'm going to try it, a patronym, Patronym, which means that a component of a personal name is based on the given name of one's father. A less common practice in countries is same thing but female, matronym, Matronym, which means that a component of a personal name is based on the given name of one's mother. In some East Asian cultures, it is traditional for given names to include a genetic name, a syllable shared between siblings and cousins and some of the same generation. It goes into middle names and things of that. Middle names are also used by many people as a third identifier and can be chosen for personal reasons, including signifying relationships, preserving prenatal or maiden names, which is a popular practice in the U.S., and to perpetuate family names. The practice of using middle names dates back to ancient Rome, where it is common for members of the elite to have a prenomen, in parentheses, a personal name. Okay. The family name is called a nomen, not nomen, Nomen, not exactly used the way a middle name is used, and a cognomen, 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 a name representing an individual, their attribute, or the specific branch of the person's family. So it's sometimes, I know, it goes on to the last name, or sometimes it's a title, is what I'm thinking. Middle names eventually fell out of use, but regained popularity in Europe during the 19th century. So back to names. So my name, my first and middle name is Erica LaShawn. That's just what it is, and that's just what I use professionally. However, like I said, my name is common. I get it. My brother's name is Eric. That's cute, Eric and Erica. But my mother told me, she said she wasn't really trying to name me Erica because of my brother, because my brother is the oldest. She said that, she just liked the name. And she just went with that. She said she really didn't try to be like, oh, since he's Eric, you're going to be Erica. She said she just liked it. So let's get to, I found this one really, really interesting. There's a young woman, and her name is, she got a Wikipedia and everything. Her name is Dr. Marijuana Pepsi Van Dyke. That's her full name. And so I'm going to start with Wikipedia. So, Marijuana Pepsi Van Dyke. They have Jackson. Jackson may be her maiden name. I don't know, but on Wikipedia is Marijuana Pepsi Van Dyke. And she is an American education professional. She earned her PhD from Cardinal Stritch University in 2019 with a dissertation on uncommon African American names in the classroom. So I kind of heard about her a few years back anyway. So she did a dissertation on this topic because people, I'm sure she understood that they're, what's in a name and how do they affect us, especially African Americans. And how we progress and how our name affects our future and our success. So it just starts off her early life. Marijuana Pepsi Jackson was born in 1972 to Aaron and Maggie Jackson. They have Brandy in parentheses, so I'm assuming that's her mother's maiden name. Who chose her name, the parents. She grew up in Chicago, Illinois until she was 9 years old. Then she moved to Beloit, Beloit, Wisconsin to live with her mother after her parents split up. She has two sisters named Kimberly and Robin. She first realized her name was unusual at 9 years old. She said her mother told her, quote, "Your name will take you around the world," unquote, and that her mother insisted on correcting a school spelling bee after a spelling bee award certificate that read Mary Jackson, quote unquote, Mary Jackson. She described being bullied in school over her name, crediting her family with helping her learn to embrace her name. She moved out of her mother's house at the age of 15, staying with friends, and began to focus on school. She graduated from Beloit Memorial High School in 1990 and received a scholarship for college at the University of Wisconsin, Whitewater. She majored in education and became a teacher after graduation. While she taught elementary school in Atlanta, she studied for a master's degree at Georgia Southern, then returned to Beloit with her young son from her first marriage. It just gives her rundown. Marijuana Pepsi Van Dyke was quote, most improved student at her high school graduation. She earned a bachelor's degree from the University of Wisconsin, Whitewater. She got the master's from Georgia Southern University. And then she got her PhD in leadership for the advancement of learning and service in higher education from the Cardinal Stritch University in May 29. That's a quick recap. So her dissertation was titled Black Names in White Classrooms, Teacher Behaviors and Student Perceptions, unquote. She was inspired by prejudice that she saw while working as a teacher. A coworker had complained that her upcoming class would do poorly based on the list of students with mostly black-sounding names. So it just goes on into her career, her professional life. Van Dyke directs a program for first-generation students with disabilities, and students from low-income families at Beloit College, where she did her undergrad. She also owns a performance coaching business and formerly worked as a teacher. Starting in fall of 2019, Van Dyke sponsored a marijuana Pepsi scholarship for first generation African American students at UW Whitewater. First generation refers to students who are the first in their family to attend college or university. Personal life. She married Mr. Sawyer in the time she lived and worked in Atlanta. They had a son in the early part. I wonder what her son name is in the early part of 2000. She and her first husband divorced. She chose to return back to Beloit, Wisconsin to give back to the place where she lived with her mother and her sisters. 2019, she married Frederick Van Dyke. They lived on a 3-acre farm in Pensacola. Oh, no, sorry. Pecatonica? Pecatonica in Illinois. Her and her son and her 3 children make up their family. So anyway, back to Dr. Marijuana Pepsi. She was saying, she told NPR, and this is a nice little photo. She's here with her. She's getting her doctorate. She got all her adornments on. But NPR was talking to her. And it just says the same thing. Her mother said that her birth name would take her places. She wasn't wrong. Okay. Now, after life spent being mocked for having an unusual name, the 46-year-old seized on her experience to earn a PhD in higher education and leadership. Her dissertation focused on unusual names. So it just goes back into it. It talks about the dissertation that she wrote that I just talked about. Until about 9 years old, she says, quote, marijuana was just a beautiful name. I received accolades, unquote. But when she moved to a new city, she was made, quote, very aware, unquote, that her name was different. Van Dyke went on to talk about her white teachers. They simply found her name unusual. Even though she preferred her full name, some teachers would just call her Mary. Quote, I think they wanted to make me feel more comfortable, unquote. She says, quote, they could see what the other children were doing and they were trying to smooth the way and make things easier for me, unquote. But she says one of her research participants at Cardinal Stritch University in Milwaukee had another theory. So her a research buddy, a participant said, quote, white people like things standardized. And that I hate that. I hate when I get on the roll. And that what? Oh, and that includes names, unquote. So the inspiration for her research came during her early years of teaching after witnessing a particularly strong reaction to what another educator perceived as non-white names. And, you know, it just goes through different quotes or whatever. But, oh, here's her mom. Here's another one. She getting her doctorate. That's her mom. I would love to hear, like, for real, her mother said it's going to take you around the world. So it just recaps. So back to names. So, I mean, names are really interesting to me. I like when people get creative. I get annoyed when people are like going too far. And that's my opinion. When you name your child, now I'm on my own list. And this person has been in the media. And this name was sent to me by someone. The young man's name is the coldest to ever do it. Crawford. That's his name. I'll spell it. D-E apostrophe capital C-O-L-D-E-S-T capital T-O capital E-V-A capital D-O-I-T. To ever do it is one word. And then his last name. So this young man's name is the coldest to ever do it. He's an athlete. He's been in the media because he's a good athlete. He's a young man. And I'm not voting for the coldest to ever do it. My doctor will never be the coldest to ever do it. My lawyer will never be the coldest to ever do it. But guess what? The coldest to ever do it? You somebody. You somebody? Ask Marijuana Pepsi. Hey, back to names. Why your name matters. In 1948, this is from who? It was posted in December 2013. And I'm not sure if this is, I guess it is. The outlet is called the Annals of Technology. That's what I'm going to say. Annals in Technology by Maria Konnikova. Konnikova. I just be clicking the mouse. But in 1948, two professionals at Harvard University published a study of 3,300 men who had recently graduated, looking at whether their names had any bearing on their academic performance. The men with usual names, the study found, were more likely to have flunked out or to have exhibited symptoms of psychological neurosis than those with more common names. The Mikes were doing just fine, but the Barons were having trouble. A rare name, the professors surmised, had a negative psychological effect on its bearer. So back to, you could be a Marijuana Pepsi or a Jonathan Jones. I don't know. I think it's all about, where you nurture versus nature. Marijuana Pepsi, that name could have been on my personal list, but this child is doing well. But it's kind of funny because I was a cheerleader in middle school and high school, and one time we had a game. This was in high school, so we had a game, and you wear your outfits, your cheerleading uniform, and your name is on the back. So the visiting school came. And we planned or whatever, and somebody noticed that the cheerleader on the opposing team, her name was Louise. Shout out to all the Louises out there. But when you like 16, 17, Louise just don't hit the same. It just really don't hit the same when you 17. So somebody noticed it. And we all had a field day. During the game, we was laughing and all that stuff. At that age, you're really immature at that age. You're young, you're growing, you're developing. So when we was like laughing at the girl, basically. Her name was Louise. Hey, Louise. Anyway, so we thought that was funny. So what I'm trying to say is, even at that age, in that stage of development, we were already judging like, oh my God, your name is Louise. But and then it could also be on the other spectrum, because me and my girlfriends went to Cancun. Or was it Aruba? It was Cancun. Same trip that I was talking about in a different video. Same trip. So we chilling. We had a little thing. And I like to dance. So we dancing or whatever. Sometimes you go different places and there's different little platforms you can get on if you feeling cute or whatever. You like, look at me, I'm dancing, whatever. So I'm up on this platform. I'm like, oh, DJ good, the crowd is good, everybody good. I had a purse with me. I thought the purse was cute. I can't find it anymore. I know it's buried somewhere, because I know this experience did not make me put my purse in a Goodwill bag. I have a Goodwill bag. When I'm done with something, articles of clothing, I have a certain bag, and when it gets full, I take it and donate it to the Salvation Army. But anyway, so I know I didn't get rid of that bag. I know I didn't. I hope I didn't. So I had my little cute bag. Shoes was matching. Dancing. The DJ was like, oh, Oh, give it up, y'all. Talking to me. So I'm like, feeling myself. I'm on the platform, like, you know. He turned around and was like, go Weezy, go Weezy, go Weezy, go Weezy. I think it was the purse, because I'm not looking like Weezy, child. I'm far from Wheezy, but the purse looked a little. I'm not gonna say like a grandma purse because I'm into fashion. I liked it, but I'm. It was this little purse I was carrying up with me. The whole crowd was like, "Go Wheezy, go Wheezy, go Wheezy," and I'm Wheezy. So I'm up here like, I can't believe this. I could not believe it. The whole party was cheering me on, calling me Wheezy. That still sticks with me because I'm still talking about it. But that takes me back to Louise. That's why that sticks with me. If my name was really Louise, that would have been a prime moment for me. I would have been like, okay, okay. But Louise is not my name, and I don't go by Wheezy. And I was laughing, but at the same time, I'm thinking, how dare you? How dare you? And it was all in good fun, but yeah. So names do be their thing. Their thing. I like when people get risky with names. I don't like when they go out the box and do silly things. I mean, it's okay, but tell me the last time you go and you gonna icon walk in the room. I'm looking at my list now. Yeah. Icon come walking in the room. It's like, okay. All right, cool. I'm on my name. Sometimes my coworkers, they'll give me names and they'll be like, what about this one? Because I'm the gatekeeper. It's my list. So they'd be like, what you think about this one? So this one, Strawberry Reyes, I told them, I said, y'all stop saying that because I'm going to start liking it. Sometimes it'd be kind of odd that it started being cute. So I'm like, look, y'all, quit saying Strawberry Reyes because I'm gonna start liking it. But Puma, Nike, these are names that we have all seen on our desk. Peaches is still being used, believe it or not. Peaches is still being used. Silk, that's different from mink, suave, silk. And I'm making a point to say all these names I see, they always belong to us. I'm trying to talk directly but indirectly. So the kids that we see are involved with child welfare. And you won't see it's rare to see a child that's just moseying on in the world and their name is Midnight or Almighty. So it it's like, wow, do the parents be like, you know what, I know things is not looking on the up and up, but I'm gonna make sure my kid is gonna be the best. I think that's the thought behind it. I guess. But life, city, Your Highness. I think the psychological part behind the parents thinking is, one time I couldn't help it. One time I had a client and the mother and father I just the daughter's name was Hennessy, which that is so not out of the ordinary here. I live where I'm in New York. I don't know. I just see it more than I thought I would. But I said, Mom and Dad, what made you name her that? And the mother and father looked at each other and they kind of giggled to each other. And the mother was like, because that's what we like. That's what we like. I was like, okay. Moving forward. So it's like and Your Highness, I have a Your Highness, Y-O-U-R, and then I'm looking at my list, a yeah, Y-A. So it's like you want to go there, but you still want to keep it gully instead of, Y-A. Yeah, Your Highness. Here's another one, Flyest. This is a girl. Flyest. When you start messing around with stuff like that, you better be that girl, she better be fly. She better be fly. Since you want to jump out the gate like that, she better be fly. And if not, you're gonna have to work on her inside so she knows she fly. That's it. But anyway, so yeah, I think this will be a short one. I'm trying to stretch it, but names are birth order is another thing too. I almost got into birth order, but I ain't really feel like it. But they talk about birth order and names have an effect on who you are and who you become. Oh, my other little paper. And these articles I'm reading, it says your name is your identity. It's what people call you, is what you respond to, is what you understand about yourself. From the day you were born, we were assigned this identifier. Some people get nicknames or change their names entirely after they are born, but the common thread is in your name. And why do they matter? Names evoke emotions far more complex than our words can justify to describe. So calling someone properly by their name, especially when that name is not very familiar to your ears, it's an act of recognizing the uniqueness of each individual and respecting their personal stories. And I think that's what I like with a name. Because especially when it's one that you don't hear often. And I like when people, like when I mispronounce someone's name, I like when they correct me. And I like that because it's like, you know what? This is who I am. Somebody gave me this name and that's who I am. And if it were me, if the shoe were on the other foot, I would correct people left and right, because either you're going to get tired of me correcting you, or you're going to tell yourself, okay, let me just get this right, because I'm sick of her correcting me. So I like when people do that, because it's like, look, hey, put some effort into it. Put a little effort into it. You know what I'm saying? That's my name or whatever. And like, it takes me back to Roots. I haven't seen Roots all in its entirety, because when it came out, I think I was born in 75. So whenever Roots came out, I heard about it. I knew the adults were watching it. I would glance at the TV. I could see it on. Never watched it. As I got older, I've seen bits and pieces, but it's a long piece. So one day I might buckle down and get the whole thing, watch it in its entirety. But just back with Kunta Kinte, and they whipped him and try to make him say Toby and what his the name that they had given him, and he wasn't buying it. So that's how important a name is. Listen, this is who I am, and that's what I will be addressed as. And I can get a nickname or whatever, but so anyway, what does a person's name mean to that person? A person's name is the greatest connection to their own identity and individuality. Some may say it's the most important word in the world to that person. That's right. That's the most important word to me, because you could say what you want about me. You could think what you want about me. Whatever. Just spell my name right. I said that earlier. Just spell it right. I think I get more annoyed when I see my name spelled wrong or incorrectly from what I was taught. Just spell my name right. It is one way we can easily get someone's attention. It's a sign of courtesy and a way of recognizing that person. So, it is what it is. It's who you are. And some people don't like their names at all. Some people change them. I work with somebody, she straight up paid the money. She took the "la" off. And the name is quite common to me, but I said, why, girl? She said, cause she could that love was getting to her, so she just straight up made a decision and took the law off. And it's like that. If she emailed me, it's like that. So she took that law off. But we give dogs names, we give animals names, stuff like that. That's how babies know their names. I think that's about it. I just wanted to get that out the way because this paper is piling up. But shout out to Marijuana Pepsi, Dr. Marijuana Pepsi. Oh, it was a cute story I heard with Barack and Michelle Obama, and I don't know who said the story, but they were saying that when she first met him, she was telling the story. She said when she first met him, he told her name was Barack, and she said she got home and she was thinking to herself, what kind of name is Barack? Like, who would, whatever. So she got a little laughs or whatever off of that or whatever. But here we are. Yeah, Barack Obama, president. Kind of cool. Very cool. So that's it. Sometimes I'll be thinking the more money you have, the more freedom people have. Because I notice, like, rich people or celebrities or people with money, they'll flat out name their baby Lampshade, Ricochet, hot cat on a hot tin roof, Marie. You know why? Because that kid, more than likely, if they're coming from an affluent home or with money, they will not have to worry about the things that others worry about, getting jobs and stuff like that. They like, yeah, okay, so my name is Doggy Bone. Doggy Bone Jones. Yeah, that's my name. And guess what? I don't have to worry about nothing because my mama and daddy is so and so. So now I don't know. But anyway, shout out to names. I think I'm gonna wrap it up. I have names that I totally love. I'm not a mother, but those thoughts that like roll around. Like, what would I do? What name would I select? Or my partner. So I think it's fun. It could be fun. It's not fun when your significant other want to name your little girl Agnes. Shout out to all the Agneses. Esther. Stuff like that. That's when it stopped becoming fun. Because the family be looking at you like, hello? This our mother, you're not gonna do it. It's like, oh my gosh. So you gotta be willing to compromise. Who knows? I'm sitting here trying to think of something. I think that's it because I don't want to. I'm trying to hit 50. 50 minutes is gonna be my low number. I'm trying to set goals for myself. Okay, let me get back on my personal list. If you're gonna name your baby Mia Moore, that's fine. But I guess if you spell it MIA-MOR, that's different. That's different. Winner and prize. Those are twins. Winner and prize. This is my personal list. No fear. N-O apostrophe capital F-E-A-R. Now, back to Mink Suave. Because that was that was a kid on my caseload. Mink Suave, I can't remember why the case came in, whatever. But it was behavioral issues. He had a bunch of behavioral issues. I'm not really sure if his parents were engaging in services and stuff like that. So that my point is, you want your child to be like big in lights, mink suave. But why? What's up with the behavioral issues? What's going on at home? Because typically, whatever's going on at home, the child will bring it to school. So, you know, oh, one little girl, and I'm gonna go out on this one. So cute. Her name was Michelle. She had to be like 9. Cute. And really cute. But she was having some issues because her mother was having some issues. So that's why we're there. We're there to help families. Her mom was having some issues. So I'm interviewing little Michelle, and I said, "Do you know?" I said, "Do you know where your name come from?" Or I said, "Do you know who your mother named you after?" Because I didn't want to make the question too broad. I wanted to know directly because I'm thinking like, girl. So I said, "Do you know who you named after?" And she said, "My mommy told me Michelle was a singer, and the little girl knew about the artist Michelle, which I grew up. I'm a fan of Michelle, but the little girl knew that her name came from the artist Michelle, and it was spelled the exact same way. And I was like, oh, I'm like, good mom. At least she know. You know what I'm saying? At least she know. Another little girl I met, her name was Whitney. And she told me, I didn't even ask her about that because that's a pretty common name. But she said her mom loved Whitney Houston. So she named her Whitney and stuff like that. So back to what I'm reading, it's a clear identifier of who you are. And like this one paper said, it's the most important name. It's the most important word that you'll ever care about. It's the most important word to that person, which is your name. Oprah, years ago, I told you I used to watch Oprah when I was a teen. I've been watching Oprah for years. Oprah had a show where it was people's names. And so she had the mic set up so you could just get up and go to the mic if you wanted to. Everybody was up on that mic. It was people. This one lady, her name was Chiquita. And she said as a kid, she was just annoyed from Chiquita Banana. The bananas. So she said the kids called her that all the time. It was a man up there. He got up there. His name was Harry Pitts. My last name is Pitts as well. So he said, Oprah said, so how did that happen? And he said, I don't know. I guess they thought it would be funny. He said my father was a ham, and he said I guess they thought it would be funny. And his name is Harry Pitts. For me and some of my cousins, we can all agree. I'm sure we heard stuff. I heard things like down in the pits, armpits. One of my cousins, she said one time she was out at recess playing kickball, and she was the pitcher. I guess she was taking too long, and she said somebody was like, "Pitch the ball." We've all heard something, no matter where you come from or whatever name you have. I think it builds character. And some people hate their name. I don't. All right, thank you very much. Thanks for listening. If you lasted this long, my name is Erica LaShawn. Thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe. I think I'm going to call it quits. I might do another one in a couple hours once I gather my thoughts. But thank you very much. I'll see you next time. Bye.